Hi, welcome to the Daily Line. Time to talk Major League Baseball for Friday. Greg, May 28th, we've got a bunch of new series starting. Also going to continue on with that Royals and Red Sox series. That was one in our pockets for yesterday. Big dog play on the Royals. Start things off with Texas and Minnesota, Greg. Twins laying 124. Texas back up in Minnesota, but this is going to be new terrain for them playing up in the outdoors at Target Field.
Target. Anything would be better. The last 46 times the Rangers went up and played at the Metrodome, they were 16-30, Jarvis.
16-30.
Yeah.
It's funny because the first time I ever went to a Major League Baseball game in my life happened to be the Texas Rangers playing in the Metrodome in Minnesota.
Well, great. Minnesota have picked up their bats a bit. You wouldn't know it with the first two games against the Yankees. They lost 3-2, and the first game was 1-0, I believe. But they've been batting .309 their last six. Texas aren't great on the road, Jarvis, this year. You want to take an American League home team with a starting pitcher whose ERA is 4.20 to 4.70. But the starting pitcher has done better of late. He's walked one or less batters in each of his last two starts. So his control is good. He's getting the ball over the plate. He's getting people out. By backing the home team in this spot, 77-33. That's 70% going back the last 5 seasons. And it's also plus 40.2 units. We're right on the edge of what I like to lay with juice, usually no more than $1.20 to $1.25. This fits within that. We have an official selection on this game. I like the Minnesota Twins minus $1.24. Just one more quick thing on this game, Jarvis. The first 24 games at the Target Center, they have 12 home runs this season. Last year, they had 25 indoors at the Metrodome. So if you're looking at the Twins and you like the over, keep that in mind. Their home run production, the first 24 games this year compared to last year, is in half. 12 this year versus 25 last year. They've played 7 overs, 14 unders, and 3 pushes so far at home at Target Field this year, so you can keep that in mind as
Maybe
well.
getting a little value on the Twins. So Greg's got to play on the Twins laying 124. I've got an official selection as well today. Let's look at Seattle and Los Angeles. Seattle was just home for a little homestand, 7 games. Turned it on a little bit, winning 4 of the last 6 games, which is surprising. Seattle has had trouble with their bats. Not a long road trip for them here. They're just heading down the coast to L.A., but they haven't had a lot of success there, and they're going against Kazmir. Kazmir is looking to try and kind of get settled in. Now, the last 7 times these teams have played, we've seen at least 5 of them stay under the total down in L.A. I think Cliff Lee got a little lucky in his last home start. He was giving up huge runs, huge hits, but Seattle's bats actually came alive. They beat San Diego in one of those interleague games, and that was a game that I mentioned to you guys that was live that day. It was in the interleague system. Strange play on the Mariners that day, but it actually came through. System went 3-0. Anyway, I like this game to stay under. We've got a couple of lefties facing off against each other. American League lefties have stayed under the total. Greg, you said you've got some numbers on this game going over.
I had some numbers going over, but I agree with you, Jarvis. I mean, it's pretty tough to play either of these teams over, especially the Mariners. And I show less than 7 runs combined in this game, so don't know who the umpire is yet, you know. And one thing, when you have 2 lefties in the American League going, there are certain umpires where the under is very favorable or the over is very favorable. But if I had to play, I like your selection on that.
Yeah, I was actually looking at L.A. to win this game. Seattle, I don't think their hot streak's going to be good. They're coming down here. L.A. has underachieved so far this season, but they are 14-12 at home. I'm expecting the Angels to turn things on a little bit, but my official play for tonight's game is on the Mariners and Angels to stay under 8 runs. You're getting that at minus 115. That's the most I'd pay. Line opened at 7.5. Greg, let's run the bases.
Running the bases brought to you by.
Brought to you by Jarvis and Greg. Start things off with Casey and Boston playing game 2. This is a 4-game set. Wakefield's on the mound for Boston. Greg, is he, are we going to see some revenge after losing that one last night?
I don't know. I kind of like the over here. Angel Hernandez is behind home plate. In the American League the last 2 seasons, he's something like 13-7 to the over. I just think my computer projections is just slightly over 10 runs. The over-under is 9.5. I have a good feel for this game. Just an opinion, though. I didn't play it. I like the over 9.5.
Okay, and Baltimore is in Toronto. Toronto laying 180. I know that when Roy Halladay left Toronto, it left exactly when it left the number 1 spot open in a rotation. Now Toronto's hitters have been doing their job, and the pitchers have been trying to fill that slot. But I'm sorry, Sean Markham, as great of a season as you're having, There is no way Toronto, after the road trip they were on, back home in the Rogers Centre, should be laying this kind of price.
Oh, I agree. That's not so much what Toronto's laying. It's who their opponent is, Baltimore.
I guess.
But, there is a system on this game. It's 7-0 favoring Toronto. But, you just can't lay $1.80.
If you're looking at betting Toronto tonight, maybe you want to lay the run and a half,
Yeah.
buy that line down. They should get this win, but remember, when teams travel, especially different time zones, coming home, might take them a game to get back. I'm going to watch this one. Had a solid profile on the Jays in the second game of a series based on the outcome of their first game.
Mm-hmm.
That's been hitting, and I'll be posting that up at betrepublic.com Saturday if there's anything live. Mets are playing in Milwaukee, Greg.
Yep.
Brewers laying 108. You don't expect to see Santana getting dog money, but he is, and that's thanks to the way the Mets are playing.
Yeah, the Mets have done quite well. But, if you take a team and you play them under the total in the month of May, when the over-under is 7 or less, if they're a good fielding team, Jarvis, and they're averaging 0.6 or less errors per game, playing the under in the month of May, it's 21 overs, 50 under, 70% to the under, plus 26.9 units the last 5 seasons. An opinion on this game to play under 7 runs.
Under 7 runs, you can get a good number on that one. You're seeing 7 over 15, so you can get 105. Just quickly want to mention Oakland and Detroit. You're seeing Detroit just getting back from their own 7-game trip out west. Could be one to look at, Greg. I thought after losing in Seattle, Detroit might like to get home, but again, it could be some time to get adjusted.
Yeah, I showed that game really tight too, Jarvis. I looked at it, and it was kind of close. I had a little bit of a lean to the road team.
Okay, and for anyone who bet on the St. Louis and Chicago game, the only day game going today, just a score update for you. We've got 5-0 St. Louis in the second inning. That's the last update I saw. Anyone who's got Chris Carpenter in their fantasy pools, Mike, the producer's got him. I know we're in a matchup, probably doing a pretty good job with him. Carpenter's going to sail to a win there.
I wonder why he was dancing on the other side of the glass.
That's right. Recapping the plays, Greg.
Yeah, okay. In baseball today, I have an official selection on the Minnesota Twins minus $1.24.
Okay, and I've got Seattle and the Angels staying under 8 runs. That's baseball, guys. Stick around. We're going to talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs next. If you want to hear some hockey news and a play, we'll be right back.